Hello, I'm Gino. Welcome to Dazzle TV. It's 6:17 a.m. here in Numancia, Aklan in the Philippines, and I'm going on my morning walk. It rained again here all night. Still wet this morning, but it is not raining right now. Today, my topic will be negotiating and tipping here in the Philippines. Just as a disclosure, I am not an expert negotiator. I am actually not good at negotiating here in the Philippines. This video is based on what I've seen here in the Philippines for the last 14 years regarding negotiating and tipping. Most of the things here in the Philippines are negotiable. About the only places where you can't negotiate are in the department stores and the stores at the mall. But for tourist areas like Boracay and Palawan, even if they post a price, that price is negotiable. It is common here when you go shopping at tourist areas like Boracay that there will be no price on the items displayed. You would have to ask the salesperson how much the item is. And on tourist places like Boracay and Palawan, the price that they will give you, it will be a high price. They give you that high price because they expect you to negotiate the price. Like for t-shirts, souvenirs, or pasalubong. Pasalubong are snacks that are common in those tourist areas. The good negotiators here in the Philippines, they are trying to get to the price called puhunan. Puhunan is the price that the seller paid for the item, the investment price of the seller. I had to run home earlier because it suddenly downpoured. It's now 8:05 a.m. here in Numancia, Aklan in the Philippines, and I'm gonna finish this video. It's sunny now, but there's still some clouds, so there's still a chance that it would rain here. I had to get my hat and I had to put some sunscreen. Another place here that everything is negotiable is the fruit stands. Most fruit stands here will not post a price on their fruits. Once you pick an area here in the Philippines to live, you will meet vendors that will be your favorite. Like Dazzle and I, we have our favorite vendors at Numancia Public Market and also vendors at our favorite fruit stands. The people will call you Suki, S-U-K-I. Suki means you are a regular customer. They will give you good prices. Not only will they give you the best price, they usually set aside the good stuff because they want to keep you as their regular customer. Another thing Dazzle and I try to do with vendors, we try to find the elderly vendors, the nanay and the tatay. The older generation, just in my opinion, seems to be kinder. Plus, I like to help out the nanay and the tatay. Very low pension here, if any, from the Social Security of the Philippines. So a lot of the nanay and tatay really rely on their income from selling. When you go to the tourist areas like Boracay and Palawan, you really need to be a good negotiator, in my opinion, because vendors on those areas, usually called tourist traps here, they will start their prices very high. Dazzle and I's good friend from Angeles City, Ida, we took her to Boracay Island because Ida is an expert negotiator. She does real estate for a living. And Ida, she gave those vendors in Boracay a run for their money. The salespeople in Boracay even told us, "Your friend is giving us a headache." Hey Ida, love you my friend. There is a term here in the Philippines that vendors call someone that is a good negotiator. They call that person barat. B-A-R-A-T. Barat means you are a habitual haggler or that you are cheap. Dazzle actually learned because Dazzle shops at Ukay Ukay all the time. Ukay Ukay are the thrift stores here in the Philippines. And Dazzle overheard the employees talking. And the employees were saying that if they see someone come into the store that were dressed nice, charge them more. If they're not dressed nice, charge them less. When Dazzle shops in Boracay, she normally checks out several stores and compares their prices, negotiates with different stores for buying anything. Me, I'm not much of a shopper. The only thing I really buy when I go to different areas here in the Philippines is maybe t-shirts for souvenir. And t-shirts here normally only cost $3 or $4 each. So not a big expense. If you have negotiating techniques, please post them so we can share it with everyone. I understand that foreigners get frustrated here in the Philippines because there is a foreigner price here for everything. Filipinos assume that all foreigners are rich and are able to pay more for items here in the Philippines. It has always been like that here in the Philippines. I was stationed at Clark Air Base in Angeles City from 1988 to 1991. And even back then, there was a different price for us GIs that were stationed at Clark than the price for the locals. Some foreigners here call that a skin tax. It's best that you let your Filipina negotiate for you or a Filipino friend negotiate for you. Like if you're trying to find a rental place, like a place to live. But once you stay in an area here, you will start knowing the prices here. You will have vendors that are your favorite vendors that will give you a good price and always a smile. I actually think foreigners here have an advantage when trying to negotiate housing because the landlords here love renting to foreigners because they know that the foreigners can pay. When I lived in an apartment in Calibo, my landlord just loved me because I always paid my rent on time. She would tell me that she had tenants that were 3 or 4 months behind of their rent. That's why I think as a foreigner, you have an advantage in negotiating your price for rent, especially if you're willing to rent on a longer term. I have foreigner friends here that live at Camellia Aklan, and they were able to negotiate a lower price than the locals pay here at Camellia Aklan. It started to have light rain. I'm just gonna try to finish this video. For high ticket items like a car, motorcycle, flat screen TV, or appliances, doesn't matter where you buy it. Whatever price they post on it, there is a cash price. Always remember to ask for the cash price. you will get a discount on the new item. If you don't ask them the cash price, you will not get the discount. The sellers will not volunteer the information. My friend Ray just bought a new TV not too long ago in Kalibo, and he got a 10% discount because he paid cash. When you look at postings on Facebook Marketplace, a lot of ads here will not show you the price. I always look for apartments in Boracay because people are always asking me for apartments in Boracay. Some will post their price, but most will not. And sometimes they will post a price on an apartment, and when you ask them for that apartment, they will tell you that it's not available, but they have another apartment that is available, which is usually higher price. I call that the bait and switch. I see that a lot with the postings on Facebook Marketplace. They will advertise an item, and when you contact them, they will say it's not available, but they have another item available, which is higher priced. For apartments in Boracay, one thing I have learned is, again, everything is negotiable. Boracay has an off season. Usually when the rainy season starts, like middle of June till December, your rent in Boracay, if you're moving during that time, will be lower. Landlords in Boracay will raise the rent starting January all the way to end of May, because that is considered peak season or the summer season. I have noticed that once rainy season starts, you can really find good deals on apartments in Boracay because landlords get desperate. They are willing to take less for rentals in Boracay during the rainy season. Let me know if you are in sales and know of other sales strategies that they might be using here in the Philippines. Now I'm gonna discuss tipping here in the Philippines. Normally, the nice restaurants here, they will add a service charge to your bill. That's why I always check my bill when I get it. Always looking for that service charge. When I see that they put a service charge on my bill, most of the time, I do not tip unless I really like the service. Then I would tip. But it's not rude to not tip once they put a service charge on your bill. The Philippines is not a tipping culture like in America. In America, I remember, it is a tipping culture. People expect you to tip. I even saw a video that went viral. A guy delivering pizza, and he got a $5 tip, and he was all upset. Here in the Philippines, if you order something from Grab, it is up to you to tip the person. The person delivering Grab food here is already making money from the delivery. If you go to a restaurant and they don't put the service charge, it is not like in the United States where you have to pay usually 15% of the bill. Like if your bill is 1,000 pesos in the US, a decent tip would be 150 pesos. Here in the Philippines, for a 1,000 peso bill, if you tip the person 50 pesos, you will get a smile from that waiter or waitress. Because many people here do not tip. When you go to the gas station here, every time I get gas, they also clean my windshield. The gas station attendants don't expect a tip. I usually give them 20 pesos. That's about 30 US cents. And every time I give them a 20 peso tip, I get a big smile from them. Same thing going to the barber shop. If you go to the barber shop here, the haircuts here cost about $2. About 100 to 120 pesos. Most people that get a haircut here do not tip. I always tip because I like my barber. I usually give a 50 peso tip to my barber. That's less than $1 tip. And again, I always get a thank you and a big smile from my barber every time I hand him a tip. At the carinderias here, carinderias are like cafeteria where you just point and they'll serve you the food. Usually, like Dazzle and I, when we eat at carinderia, we'll get rice, a vegetable dish, and a meat dish. Very rare will you see anyone tip when they eat at a carinderia or a cafeteria. When people go to Boracay Island, especially the ones coming from the airport, they usually have heavy suitcases, and getting in and out of the ferries is pretty tricky carrying heavy suitcases. So they have porters in Caticlan, in Tabon, in Cagban, and Tambisaan ports. Those porters work for tips, and a tip for those porters is 50 pesos per luggage, less than $1 per suitcase. Thank you for your continued support of our channel. Dazzle, Leanna, and I, we truly appreciate your support. Take care, everyone.